they have 22 million, second to the Catholic. They're actually, maybe they're going to over, I don't know if they can do that, the numbers of the Catholic, but maybe not, because the Catholic has the number one. It says here, he sees that the popular churches are already lulled to sleep by his deceptive power. This is talking about Satan. He already controlled this church. By pleasing sophistry, by lying wonders, he can continue to hold them under his control. Therefore, he directs his angels to lay their snares, specially, for those who are looking for the second advent of Christ and endeavoring to keep all the commandments of God. So how does Satan actually control the church? How does he do it? Okay. Who are his agents? Okay. Who are his agents? He's controlling them by those popular churches are being controlled by popular ministers as well. Okay. That's why it says here, I will influence popular ministers to turn the attention of their hearers from the commandments of God, that which the scriptures declare to be a perfect liberty shall be represented as a yoke of bondage. The people accept their ministers' explanation of scriptures and do not investigate for themselves. Therefore, by working through the ministers, I can control the people according to my will. That's it. Remember, there's a church of Christ, church of God. There's also the church of Satan. And how do you call the church of Satan? The synagogue of Satan.
Go back to the next. Go back first. The one.
Yeah, please, just for a minute, because I didn't get
Okay.
It says there, how does Satan control the church?
Okay.
Look at it.
How does, okay, sorry about that. There is a mistake there in, sorry. I did not notice that Satan actually controlled the church. I'm not talking, I'm not talking of an individual here, but it says here, the synagogue of Satan. Okay, remember that Satan has his own church. Okay, Christ speaks of the church over which Satan presides as the synagogue of Satan. Its members are the children of disobedience. They are those who choose to sin, who labor to make void the holy law of God. It is Satan's work to mingle evil with good and to remove the distinction between good and evil. And that's why there are two classes of people in the church. You have the wheat and the tares, you have the wise and the foolish virgins. But this church, does Christ's presence are in these churches that have two classes of people? No. Christ's church is always pure. That's why it says there, from the beginning, faithful souls have constituted the church of Christ. But doesn't mean that God doesn't have a people there. He still have people. But that doesn't mean that that is his church. His church is composed of people who are true to him. That's what it says there, right? So what is the condition of the church right now? Okay? What is the condition? It says here, the facts concerning the real condition of the professed people of God speak more loudly than their profession and make it evident that some power has cut the cable that anchored them to the eternal rock. This is Christ. And that they are drifting away to sea without chart or compass. If you are riding in this boat, what will you do if the compass, if the chart or compass is being cut off, the cable is cut off? Where is this boat going to end up? Is this boat going to end up in the right destination? You need, and I think I have a picture of how they try to show of the options. You know, there was a picture that I got from YouTube, that there's a big boat. So many people are riding in that big boat, and there's also a small boat, and they call it offshoots. And then if you look at also another picture, there's also a big boat that is sinking, and the small boat is saying, "Come on in." You know, they might call us that actually way, but it says here they are drifting away to sea without a chart or compass, And that's why it says here in my last text, 2 Corinthians 6, 17 and 18, wherefore come out from among them and be separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord Almighty. If we don't comply this condition, we continue to associate with those who are corrupt, we will be corrupted. Okay? Because by beholding, we become changed. That's why Jesus said, if you continue reading this chapter here of 2 Corinthians, it says there, touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. That means, you can actually touch any unclean thing by your presence, by your membership, okay? By being silenced. You can also touch that. 3 things. So that's why it says here, the only way is to comply this, come out from among them and be separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord. So the only way that we can be sons and daughters of God, if we comply this. And when we can become children of God is when we come out. That's the only way. Okay? And so if they say, why we're bringing people here, but you are bringing people out? I said, well, if I can only explain to you, then you will be able to understand. But anyway, we had a good conversation, and he actually said that we appreciate, we learned something today. And he asked some of the studies that we had actually. So I'm just thankful that we're able to share that. So I hope and pray that we will continue to be light, even though we're just in the minority, but we share the light that we have, to the world. So it's my prayer.